hopefully we have. How many subscribers do we have now, Kelvin?
No
Have we
one.
reached our benchmark? No one. I've
Well,
subscribed.
2. It's me and you.
2. Ah, that's better than
Alrighty, I'm
1.
gonna send out the link and then we can get started.
Let's get this party started. I have a feeling everyone's watching the videos and not really listening.
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone's watching the video
it's
highlights.
whatever you can catch it, right? It's whatever you can catch.
Yeah.
Alrighty, episode 143.
Coronavirus, probably not. Hopefully not the coronavirus.
Yep. See what you did there. So 143 is now being recorded live. Check it out here. All right, ready when you are.
Okay, sorry, I'm just gonna think of the intro. Okay, got it.
Okay, so
Okay,
quick run through. You do your COVID stuff. I do PEXIP and then Elon. Cool.
Yep, got a nice flow. Do you want to start with Elon, actually?
Yeah, we can start with Elon.
Let's start with Elon, yeah. I like starting with a, like a fun one.
Yeah.
Before we get to the dark one. All right, what is it? Okay, I messed up the intro last week, so I gotta. So I'm just so trained for the lazy couch.
I know.
It's like I have to like think 1/4.
Think naked.
143 of the Naked Tech podcast. Think naked. Okay. And what are we doing? Sorry, that's not it. I'll just.
What's my intro?
Okay. Got it? Hi everyone, Twitch, howdy. Can they interact
Yes,
with us
I'm
in real
watching
time
the
at
chat
all?
room.
You are watching the chat room, okay. The troll room.
You wish. They have 2,000 people in the troll room, all right? It's something.
I would have thought more. Yeah. Okay. All right, I think we're ready to go. 143. Remind me to set up my webcam next week. I don't know where to place it, but
you'll figure it out.
That's how it goes. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 143 of the Naked Tech podcast. It's a show that gives you everything you need to know about consumer tech, the internet, and all things MVP. I'm your friend Jeff Kim.
My name is Kelvin Lee, and what exactly is Elon up to?
He's up to no good. He's up to something. He's up to, let's see. Is he getting married? He's about to have a baby as well.
He's a troll, right? Like, the guy just loves trolling everyone on the internet, and I'm not convinced that he's totally lost his mind. But we'll talk about that in a second.
He's the new Trump for me.
Really?
Well, I think that's what people are saying. Yeah. How's your week been, Kelvin?
Good. Yeah,
Lockdown.
Still locking down. Even the news, and you and I were chatting about this. It's a bit of a slow news week. There's not a lot happening. Still a couple of fun stories. Just a lot of COVID-19 news, and we just want to make sure our listeners aren't burnt out by listening to us say the word COVID over and over again.
Well, I think we're beginning to see how technology is just like everywhere, and one of the things to fight the disease is like basically technology. All the things we've been talking about over the past 5 years is, coming to light. So it's kind of like cool to talk about, but I guess not really. So we got some Elon news, have we?
So just last week, Elon...
One thing we've learned lately is that when Elon Musk tweets,
there's a timing. That was my cat. That was my cat.
Your cat? How's your cat playing the clips?
She tapped the keyboard.
That's just hilarious.
Okay. It was more than one clip as well.
Wow,
That
she
was
played multiple
amazing.
clips at once.
And she actually chose the right clip. One
I
of them
know,
was
it's
the right
just,
clip. And now she wants
oh,
my water.
Felicia.
Okay.
She just wants to be on the show, man. You
Actually, I
just
might
give her
give her
some,
the
man,
water.
please.
Yeah.
Don't let her
Okay.
dehydrate.
All right. Take
two. Let's go. I'm going to let CNBC just give us the 101 on what Elon has recently done on Twitter.
One thing we've learned lately is that when Elon Musk tweets, the news cycle follows him. And in fact, he does have a series of tweets in the past few minutes. Says, I'm selling almost all physical possessions, will own no house. Says Tesla stock price is too high, IMHO, in my opinion, and now give people back their freedom. 33 million followers, John, and it's going to get attention. Stock now down almost 7%.
Yeah, so the really interesting is, the guy says emo as in my honest opinion. The reason why that is so critical is if you look at this article that we're showing on Twitch at the moment is because he said in my honest opinion, it is technically his opinion, so it's not illegal. So he hasn't committed any SEC fraud according to this article, according to a lawyer. So everything that Elon is doing is pretty calculated, considering he's learned from the lesson from earlier tweets, which caused his share prices to go up and down because of a joke.
Does he also have a disclaimer on his Twitter profile saying all tweets are my own and not for the shareholders? Does he say that as well?
I don't think there's enough characters in that. But throughout this COVID-19 pandemic, Elon's views haven't been very mainstream, and I expect no less from Elon. He's done things like promote a chloroquine. He thinks that we should open up the economy as soon as possible. He called the whole panic dumb. So he's obviously taken a very non-mainstream view on COVID-19. Maybe he knows something that we don't.
I don't know if you can say it's mainstream because I know a lot of people that hold the view. I guess it's mainstream media's view.
That's
I
right.
think you can say that. But yeah, it's a very unpopular view. I know he wants to liberate America as well.
So, I mean, obviously, share prices have fallen, and he just wants to get Tesla back on track, making his cars, meeting deadlines and things like that. So it's another case of Elon being such a perfectionist, such a workaholic that, he wants this to be over as soon as possible so he can meet his goals. Has this changed your view on Elon, or is it just Elon business as usual?
The only thing is, like, I don't know how calculated he is. Like, I didn't really think about that. I think he's just being himself. And I think it is similar to Trump in the way he just like has a thought in his head. He might be, off his face on some drugs, but yeah, I think that's how he's doing it. I don't think he's really think about the consequences. But yes, the IMO, in his opinion, not the board of directors' opinion. Maybe that is a disclaimer that he needs now.
Yeah, and you know what? I think Elon should continue to be the crazy guy that he is. You know what I mean? Like the term crazy scientist, it holds true here because if you ain't crazy, you ain't saving the world, I guess. So we're going to just wait and see to see whether he goes even further as the lockdown changes and if it suits him or not. I'm just going to watch it from the sidelines, have a bit of fun with it. If anything, this is a bit of fun to have in this strange times.
Be interesting to see if he goes full Elon. just stay 80% Elon,
Never
you'll be
go
fine,
full
Elon. Don't go. Never go full Elon. Show title. All right, staying on the theme of things that are happening currently. COVIDSafe app. Have you downloaded it, Calvin?
No, and for the reasons that I think you saw coming, we have ScoMo saying things like, do you want life to go back to normal? We'll give you an early mark if everyone downloads it. Just that tone in itself just puts me off really bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess the main thing is about your personal privacy. lot has been made of perhaps a lack of one. How much of that data is the government getting now? I think that the way the media portrays this issue is that it's kind of like black and white. It's either secure or it's not,
Mm-hmm.
right? No one's really doing the job to explain to the public like what's actually going on. So that's why Twitter happened
Yep.
this week. There's a bit of a tech community on Twitter, as you know, Kelvin, and some of the guys have started just going into the code and just researching for themselves, doing things like apparently there's a way to just download the APK of every app that goes on the App Store.
What?
Yeah, on the
Right,
Play
for
Store. I
for
mean,
Android, gotcha.
not for Android. And so this guy did that. He sort of wrote about it on Twitter. So it became a big thread. A lot of people commented, asking questions. So he dug deeper. And yeah, what happened on, I believe it was Wednesday last week, there was an Eventbrite event that happened, organized by some of these guys. And it was essentially like a panel. So some of the security guys in the industry in Australia. So I've got some names here. You might have recognized them. Troy Hunt, Matthew Robbins. He's the Android dev that sort of downloaded the APK and went through it. Jeff Huntley is another, developer that's been around the traps. He's actually coordinating this in like sort of capturing all the comments, all the complaints that are coming through the app stores, just noting down all the problems. He's actually trying to find bugs, right? And he's putting it all in one big Google Doc, which is amazing. So there was a panel on Wednesday night. It was done through MS Teams, and they just had a 2-hour chat on what they thought was going on, and also they answered some questions. So this is all captured. The video, I think you should see the YouTube link as well. They've uploaded the whole 2-hour conversation. It is a bit dry, to be honest, but some of it, I thought it was pretty interesting. Now I'm going to play a clip. So this is Jeff Huntley. Now he thinks that it's actually a pretty good MVP. And it coming from a very experienced developer. In terms of privacy, I guess it's more of a personal decision. We all know that it's not GPS related. No one's capturing your location. It's just the only thing that's location related is just proximity to where the other person was when wherever you were. Doesn't matter where you were, but just the proximity. That's the only thing. So they broke it all down. Here's Jeff Huntley talking about, just what are some of the quick fixes that they need to apply, maybe in the, even as soon as this week, to help people register.
So the first thing is the Australian App Store. The application is only published in the Australian App Store, and that is not a good outcome because a lot of people have immigrated to Australia, or they might be backpackers. And if they can't download it from their native country app store, they can't enroll. So that's the first thing. That's really simple. All they need to do is take the existing application and publish it to all the app stores internationally.
So that's nothing to do with the code. This is just process. Like someone sort of just skipped that.
Accessibility.
I mean, that could be some security reasons why.
Yeah, I think they wanted
so maybe
to play down, people just taking this and running with it and going, why is it open to everybody, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but reality is that people don't use the Australian. Well, not everyone uses the Australian App Store here. So there's lots of complaints about that. I know a very good friend has mentioned that on Facebook already. So hopefully that gets resolved. Couple other problems I'll just talk about. So there's apparently if you're on a VPN, and you are seen to be overseas, the error message that you get is like invalid phone number. So it's very misleading, right? So they looked into the code and it's actually the fact that it doesn't recognize the IP address as being local. So sure, you could be on a separate app store and download it, but you have to be physically in Australia to use it. Which makes more sense, but then don't say it's an invalid phone number, because people are going to be confused. So that's again very, very easy fix. Problem number 3, when you register, and I actually was over at my parents' place earlier today, setting it up for Mum. And now we can make visits in New South Wales. So what happens is like the classic sort of phone number input problem, which is like, do you put the +61 first or not? So that part is hard coded into the input field. So reality is, yes, sure, 98% of the population has a 61 phone number, but like you might be on a business trip, probably less so right now. But reality is that you might not have an Australian phone number,
another
right?
problem.
So you kind of, so these are like really, really quick things that they can do. And I guess it's just the reality of the issue is that they had literally no time to, seed this anywhere. So these are quick things, easy problems that people can solve. So I thought that was quite insightful.
Yeah. So hopefully given time and they'll update this and, updates will get pushed through, these UX issues will solve itself out, hopefully.
The other thing they talked about was the fact that they obviously they saw that it's the Singapore's trace together source code. However, just before that becoming open source, I think they took that privately. They took that source code privately, and they pretty much forked that version. So now there's two versions of very similar code. And we've worked in this area for a long time. It just makes no sense. Every country should be, working off the same code base.
I'm just trying to think of, I'm going to give them the benefit. I'm trying to think of why. So I think, people might not understand the whole open source mantra and how it works, and people, submitting changes to the code to make it better, etc. And it might just freak people out to see that, different people from different countries can make update to the source code, I'm guessing, even though it probably goes through a pretty rigorous process to ensure that it isn't, hackers or anything like that trying to manipulate the code. It's probably just too hard. I think people want to be seen as, the Australian government owning the code from, from the word go and from line 1 of the code all the way to, line 9,000 or whatever it is. I think it's purely a PR move. I think it's just to give people confidence that they own everything and no one can make any changes, which is dumb.
Yeah, and maybe just a footnote. Yeah, totally. And just a footnote to that is that Google and Apple have been working together for the last month or so, getting this API out. I think that they are seeding that to their staff members. So I think, we'll expect I think people have found it in the 13.5 iOS, the beta version. I think they're calling it a proximity.
Something cool.
Okay, no, I read about it.
Proxy friend.
Yes. Yeah, so that's a OS level API. So that you can expect probably like an opt-in. Hopefully it's an opt-in, not an opt-out. Like a setting that you turn on and off in the app or in your settings app.
The other thing I read about on LinkedIn by a journalist who's looking into this is iOS and Android, they don't like things running in the background that uses Bluetooth. It's just built into the kernel apparently. So it's interesting to see what the OSs do to the app over time. Would my Samsung phone has very aggressive battery management sort of processes that like to kick in and shut apps down and reduce Bluetooth usage, etc. So it'd be interesting to see how the OS deals with this app and what it does to your battery life as well. And that would be super interesting. But no, I think people are starting to accept that everything I've seen on Facebook, Instagram, my personal circle is go download it, do it for the better of mankind. I'm just going to wait and see for a bit.
Yeah, and apparently even if you were matched with someone like tomorrow, apparently the whole thing hasn't been activated. So it's definitely, I think, it's good that, depending on your point of view, obviously, like I haven't downloaded it yet. I say yet because there's a chance to maybe in the future, but the whole system isn't live yet. But I guess it's an exercise to get people to have it on their phones. So when they do push that button, it's like, hopefully that works. So staying on theme, and this is a little bit scary, Kelvin. I'm going to start off with a clip from ABC News.
From the clear skies of Adelaide, this drone is searching for possible symptoms of coronavirus. Its creators say it can detect every sneeze or cough, even invisible symptoms like fever or a faster heartbeat.
Heart rate can be measured in two different ways. From a drone, we normally would measure it by a subtle change in skin tone that's associated with each heartbeat, and it's caused by a change in the volume of blood in the skin.
Yeah, so we've known about this technology just, I mean, it's not the fact that it's on a drone, but any sort of modern camera can actually do this because there's slight changes in your skin tone as your heart pumps blood. So, that there's machine learning involved here. This is gonna just imagine a world where you're out in the park and you've got drones flying overhead, perhaps 100 meters, 200 meters overhead, seeing if you have the virus or not, or other reasons.
You know what? This just gave every redneck in the U.S. a reason to buy more guns. I'm just saying, like, come on, people. Like, even if you could,
you mean extra guns?
Even more
you mean,
like a bazooka at this point. Like, even if you could, should you?
Yeah.
Like, in what scenario would we give up so much privacy to do this? This wouldn't fly.
Well,
literally.
So in Connecticut actually, the story went on to say the police in Connecticut actually wanted to roll this out last weekend, but it got shut down by the activists, privacy activists. So it's a real thing. I mean, and I believe this story was from Adelaide. And technology is there. Do we let it happen? Like, at what cost? Sure, we want to be safe and be out doing stuff, but like, what is that margin of error? And like, does it have to be 100% perfect? Does it can we say 99%?
So let's play it out. There's a football game.
Yeah.
We deploy the drones. And pick someone who is of a high probable case of having COVID-19, and then we taser them. Like, how exactly is this meant to work? I just want to know. I
think with night vision, like when it's dark, maybe like some spotlight.
Like, have we trained the monkeys yet to be ninjas and do this? Like, you can imagine, right? Like, what if you got it wrong? Like, the litigation is just through the roof. So technology or no technology, this is just too risky. I just wish we could use it maybe at airports, not drone per se, but the AI that reads, heart rate and things like that. I'm sure there's use cases for it. Flying around in the public spaces, drones can't even do that. So I don't know how they're going to get past that. That's I feel like issue number one amongst the other 9,000 issues they have to go through.
Yeah, and this is all like really data crunching, right? Masses of data, being captured with vision, and then in some way like a machine learning algorithm working out whether that cough is that's a typical cough for the flu versus a cough for coronavirus. I don't know. Maybe one day they'll figure that out. That'll be part of the algorithm. That's. I was listening to a very interesting podcast by the Exponential guys, Exponential Wisdom, sorry, and it's a monthly podcast which I love, and they think that there's so many people working on this, either the vaccine or some the antivirus,
Vaccine.
And other ways. And I'm going to talk about another thing, which was a hackathon, right? So there's so many people trying to work on this problem. He thinks that this COVID-19 has no chance, like in the next sort of 6 to 12 month time frame. That could be true. If we sort of apply that exponential thinking, not just for the virus, but in the way technology works, it's an exponential graph, right? So you got the hackathon thing there. So I'll just quickly play that clip too.
Boston company is using artificial intelligence to combat the coronavirus. This video here shows how engineers from Loretta found a solution to fit the most number of hospital beds in a room while still social distancing. A picture of a room is run through the company's algorithm, and the company is now developing an app for it. The idea won a competition hosted by MIT.
Yeah, so we're getting into applications of all the things that we've been talking about into this one problem right now, which is interesting in itself. And I think it's sort of like a bit of a bonanza for us as well, because, just nerding out with the technology. But, where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? Like there's, hospital beds, number of hospital beds, in a hall is one thing, but using camera technology to, work out someone's heart rate from 100 meters away, that is scary.
Yeah, I think this is a much more practical use case that we can deploy right now to build, temporary hospitals in convention centers and things like that. So this is super cool.
Yeah, actually, the CEO actually talked about how they think that they could, work that technology for restaurants as well, as the social distancing is applied. So maybe if you have a square meter space of 50, then you can have so
Weddings.
many people. Anyway, that's just maths, but yeah, lots of stuff. Yeah,
this is very cool.
Yeah, so this is the world. This is 2020. We're in May now. Wow, yeah. April was very quick, wasn't it?
Well, it depends on what you were doing while you were locked down. If you had, I don't know, 6 children or something, probably felt a lot longer.
Oh my God, yeah.
So yeah, I think, great stories to tell our grandkids.
Let's hear about this PegZip.
So, I came across a story on the Financial Times. It's a very different take on video conferencing. So I'm going to play a marketing video I found on their YouTube channel. It's a bit, it's a bit dragged out. It's a bit markety, but I just wanted you to hear it from the horse's mouth and how they're different to everyone else.
Maximize your existing video conferencing investment with cost-effective endpoint management and industry-leading call control at scale. So whether you want to extend the life of video hardware or simplify complex network architecture, we've got you covered. Deploy PegZip however you'd like. Self-hosted, in the cloud of your choice, deploy it as a service or as a combination. The flexibility is great for sectors with rigid security and privacy demands like government, healthcare, and finance. PegZip is fully customizable. Brand and integrate our platform with your current tools and technology to get everything working exactly the way your organization requires.
So it's they are the video conferencing supplier of choice to like the U.S. Army and a lot of very secure work environments, and they work with Teams, Skype, and other video conferencing solutions. Now, we all know about the issues that Zoom had with security. You can use your typical Skype call via PegZip without the internet. So they set up private connections between 2 people on a secure network for that call to happen, which is super interesting. So if you're working in...
Is that using some sort of mesh network?
No, so they basically supply their own internet. But it's like a secure intranet almost that would trick the video conferencing system into thinking it was connected to the internet. So I think they probably pass all Skype, Zoom, whatever connections through a very secure line somehow, and then somehow go back and forth where everything's encrypted. They obviously also provide their own video solutions, but with the whole scare around Zoom being insecure, a solution like this would be amazing. And they've recently raised a whole ton of money, and they're getting a lot of attention. So that's pretty cool.
Okay, Norwegian, was it?
So Scandinavia's biggest tech IPO is coming soon. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Right, very interesting. Yes. Thought we might probably end with something a little bit fun, perhaps. Very different to what we've been talking about. So I've categorized this as just nerding out. So Kelvin, we've been watching the Clone Wars season 7, especially the last 3 episodes. I think you saw the last one, right?
Can't wait for tomorrow.
Yes. So we're not going to give anything. Yes, tomorrow, May the 4th. Technically, do we get it? It's May the 4th here. Probably might need to wait like till midnight tomorrow night, maybe. However, what was I going to say? Yeah, we're not going to spoil any of it because maybe we'll save a special episode for the Clone Wars finale, because we think it's been probably some of the best Star Wars out there. Big props to Dave Filoni, the showrunner. I think the fans just really love him because they say stuff like, "You get Star Wars, David Filoni. You are king." Have you seen those memes? Like people are just giving him the crown. Yeah, but one of the best things, and people have seen the trailer for the season, so you know that Ahsoka's gonna come across Maul at some stage. So I've got a clip from IGN talking about some of the way they did the mocap, and get this, it was Ray Park, original Maul from 1999, doing the mocap for Maul in coming back to do it 20 years later, 21 years later, which is incredible. And I'll just play the clip.
Lauren's really fast because she's using 2 lightsabers. There's a timing, there's a beat. It's like you're dancing, you feel an energy from the other person.
It's Maul.
Yeah, it's Maul. It's Maul.
It's Maul.
Oh, I have goosebumps.
Using mocap for the first time, all those sort of subtle nuances that Ray is able to bring to Maul were just so helpful.
Yes, I think this is probably a first. I mean, like mocap gets used for live action CGI, but if it's a cartoon series, they normally do mocap. I don't think they do. Not at this level. I mean, they do it for games a lot, and I think Ray Parker's done it for other Star Wars games. But yeah, I mean, like when I saw it for the first time, it was like I think that looks like the original Maul, like in Phantom Menace.
Yeah, he still got it.
Really
There's
impressive
a great
work.
meme that is on Reddit about him just showing off his skills, and he still got it at Comic-Cons and things like that. So it's really something. You can tell just by looking at this video like how fit he still is, and I didn't realize how big he was. I mean, look at him just tower over the stunt actress who is playing Ahsoka. But I noticed it as well. Like the fight scenes were something else. Like in most animated fights, you won't see like smart moves. You won't see flying knees or elbows, and the use of typical martial arts moves that you don't see most of the time. So yeah, like it's really cool, I think.
Yeah, and you could probably get lost in Reddit talking about all the different subtle moves that Maul does to, first kill Qui-Gon, and then, slight spoiler alert for Rebels season, whenever, he came up with Obi-Wan when he was an old guy, like Obi-Wan was waiting for that same move, right? And then that's how he got Maul. But yeah, like really impressive. I'm just fully immersed in this stuff right now. The other thing I'm really immersed into is The Last Dance on Netflix.
Not
Are you watching
yet,
this, Kelvin?
So tell me about it.
Yeah. So as you know, there's been no sports. There's been a big hole in my life the last couple of months. The only thing I could probably watch is like horse racing or Belarus Football League.
Belarus.
Apparently there was like a cricket game in Samoa. I mean, like that's what we're talking about in terms of live sport. So I think this has really filled a hole in a lot of people's lives, including myself. So this is the documentary of Chicago Bulls 97-98 season. The drama is incredible. The pacing, the way it flows, it goes into the history of how Jordan started, talks about the first original three-peat or the era of the Detroit Pistons just before like winning their first title. They have interviews with Carmen Electra because she used to go out with Dennis Rodman. That's right. I almost did at one stage. Yeah, it's if you haven't, please check it out on Netflix. It has been on ESPN in America only. Some of the numbers, like 6.1 million watches for the first two episodes, and there was no drop off next week. 5.9 million
Wow.
the week after for 3 and 4.
I definitely want to watch it. I played a lot of basketball in my younger days, and this team was the one that we were all following in the 90s. So I definitely want to check it out and see if I can learn anything new about the people I used to dream about being. But what a great way to end episode 143 with some basketball stars. If you want to hear us talk about this and so much more, please go to the website. That's thenakedtagpodcast.com. It's got everything. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube as well as Twitch. As always, you can always contact us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. And that's Kelv out.
Jeff out. Not everyone was a fan of the Bulls, by the way, including myself.
So who did you support back when the Bulls was running at the show?
Detroit basketball.
Yeah. No, that happens.
OG, man, OG. Yeah. No, I hated Jordan with a passion back then. I think the first three-peat I hated him more. Yeah, you'll see in episode 3 the big thing that happened in, what was it, 89 or 90? No, sorry, 91. The beef goes back that long, 30 years. People were still talking about it last week.
Holy crap.
Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan, yeah.
Anyway, I am going to stop the stream now. Thank you to everyone who's watching us on Twitch. Later.